All right, guys, welcome to the Credit Game. My name is Mike. I come to you every single day to make sure you know credit like your child's name. So we're going to talk about a topic today. If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That helps us out. This is how we grew the fastest credit channel ever in national history. That being said, I'm also going to be sharing with you, look, anytime you can share this video with a family or friend, turn on your bell notifications so that way you're getting the videos every day. Remember to master things. It's got to be, I want to be inside your ear every day to make sure that you learn credit, how it works, what to do, and give you the fastest tips, tricks, and strategies. You know, you can raise your credit score. So make sure you smash on the like button after this video if it brings you value, and then also share with somebody you love. That being said, today we're going to talk about trade lines. We have a lot of clients come in. By the way, my videos are based on the questions that my members are calling in with, right? So they're very relevant questions. And then I do create a video based on the amount of people that ask that specific question. A lot of people want to know what a trade line is. What are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? So let's dive into what is a trade line. So first of all, a trade line is anything that is on your credit report as either revolving or installment. Those are called trade lines, okay? For the purposes of this video, we're actually going to be talking about trade lines from the standpoint of AKA authorized users. Okay, because any account, whether it's a car or a house, is technically a trade line. But again, because what I'm asking here specifically that people are asking is, what is an authorized user trade line? And so I want you to picture somebody with great credit. Okay, they've got a credit card. Let's just say it has $20,000 credit limit. It's got 5 years of history. Now, they are willing to share their good payment history with you. You are the authorized user. However, you never get access to the card. So the card holder adds you by calling the bank and saying, hey, would you add John Smith, here's his name, here's date of birth and social, to your credit card as an authorized user. Okay, the card comes in the mail. It goes to John Smith with your name on it. You don't get access to the credit card. However, you do get access to AKA piggybacking on his good credit. So what will happen is the $20,000 credit limit and the age of the account that John's been making payments on for years, in this case we said 5 years. So what's going to happen is that $20,000 credit limit and the 5 years or 60 months of history goes onto your credit report as if it was you. So you can see by my next quote, this is the absolute fastest way to raise your credit score. In fact, there's nothing even faster. I don't care if you pay down your utilization. I don't care if you remove negatives. I don't care if you remove inquiries. There is nothing, if you time this correctly, that can raise your score as fast as a trade line. In fact, I've seen trade lines 150 to 180 points in 3 days. I had a client that raised his credit score 174 points in under 3 days. There's nothing that can raise your score that fast. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So let's talk about a trade line, first of all, and some of the benefits. Obviously, it's a score increase booster, okay? So why would people want trade lines? Because it's a fast increase in score. You're trying to buy a house, you're trying to get a car, you're trying to get credit cards. How else would you have a $20,000 credit limit with 5 years history without adding a trade line? Unless you had that card for 5 years with 20K. If you don't, and you have new credit, or you don't have a lot of age, and you don't have a $20,000 credit limit that you personally went and got, then you get a trade line, and now when you apply, guess what? Your high credit is $20,000 and shows lenders perfect payment history over the last 5 years. That's an example. Trade lines come in all different sizes, shapes, okay? Meaning all the way up to probably $100,000. Seen an Amex $100,000 credit limit, okay? And I've seen credit cards as old as 54 years old. 54 years old. My grandma had a 54-year-old credit card, okay? It's one of the oldest ones I've seen. It was back in 50, 60 something, okay? So thinking about it like this, okay, I want to share something with you. The higher the credit limit and the older the card, the more impact it will make to your credit. Let me say it again. Higher credit limit, older card, more impact that you will get when that card reports to your credit. So 2,000 credit limit, 6 months old, not going to do much, okay? Probably will end up hurting your credit versus helping you. 25,000, 30,000, 15 years old, significant impact because of the credit limit and the age that it's adding on your credit report that you didn't have otherwise. Okay? Now, does this work for every bank? No. There are some lenders that take authorized users and say, hey, it is an authorized user. However, there is so many different algorithms and so many different banks, and a lot of the credit cards and some of the car loans and some of the mortgage companies still, a lot of them, high percentage of them, over 70%, still take trade lines and regard them as a valid account. Let's talk about this. How long does a trade line stay on your credit? Well, depends on if your grandma adds you or you have a company do it. Okay, company do it, you're looking at probably 45 to 60 days. Grandma can leave you on forever, it doesn't matter. Okay, but grandma has to have perfect payment history, utilization under 20%, preferably under 10%, never any late payments, and make sure the card reports all 3 credit bureaus. Okay, so make sure if you're going to use grandma family member that those 4 things, go back to this video if you need to, those 4 things are absolutely in place. Utilization's low, card reports, never any late payment, and I would make sure that the card is at least 2 years old because with FICO coming out, that's going to regard and disregard the 24-month look back. So the older than 2 years, nothing less. Okay, if you don't have a family member, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's talk about A1 banks versus store cards. Okay, people are asking this question. What should I add to my credit report? Well, if it's a JCPenney, Home Depot, Lowe's, Synchrony Bank, right, TJ Maxx, these are called store cards. Okay, now they are also called a B grade. An A grade, okay, would be banks like Barclays, Discover, Capital One. And then you have what they call A plus grade. An A plus grade would be something like this: Citibank, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Those banks make the most impact to your credit and hold the most weight. So if I had a choice between picking a Lowe's Synchrony Bank or a Bank of America card, which one would you go with? You're going to go with the Bank of America. Okay, I'm dropping some gems for you guys today, boy. I'm telling you. So then a lot of people want to know this. How many trade lines should I add? Great question. Okay, I don't recommend anything less than 2. I have a 3 file that I can give you and a 2 file. I'm going to share these with you real quick. If you're adding 2 trade lines, you want the highest credit limit to be the newest card. You want the lowest credit limit to be the oldest card. Let me give you an example. I would put a 5K 15-year on, and then I would put a 25,000 3-year card on. And what that shows is that 15 years ago, you got approved for 5,000, and then 3 years ago, you got approved for 25,000. And that over time, your credit over the last 15 years has got better and better, and that you've been approved for a much higher and higher credit limit. This is called a progression file. Now, if you wanted to sneak a little middle one in there, then I would do the 5K 15 years. I'd bump it up to about a 10K, 8 years, and then do the 25K 3 years. Okay? Still, the progression shows that over time your credit has gotten better and better. That's how you structure a trade line package. You don't just willy-nilly pick a bunch of different trade lines and just try to figure it out and hope it works. Okay? What is a statement date? Every credit card has a different statement date. The way that I'm going to share this with you is how one of my members was able to add a trade line and get 174 points in 3 days. Because what he did was pick a $30,000 USAA card. It had 21 years of history on it. Okay? And what a statement date is this. He called, found out what the statement date of the card was, and had the company add him 2 days before the statement date. Okay? Now, if you know USAA, they report very fast. Some cards take longer. I'll talk about it in a minute. The cards that report fast, okay, he knew that, look, if I get on before the statement date or statement closing date of the card, then I know that within a day after the statement date, it's going to report to my credit bureau. So what happened was he timed it perfectly, got on 2 days before the statement date, and then a day after the closing statement date, that USAA reported to his credit 174 point increase. Guys, what would it look like if you had a 600 and then 3 days later, you had a 774? Do you see the difference? Okay? That is playing the power of trade lines and understanding the credit game. These are things I talk about in the credit game all the time. I built this for me. I built a progression file. I even tell you what banks to go to. I tell you what funding sources to go to. I tell you what I put on my credit because I built it for me. So I actually go through and step by step and say, hey, get this line, this bank, this credit limit, this age. Literally, I structure it out for you. Not only that, if you don't have a family member or friend that has perfect credit, that's willing to add you as an authorized user, that the utilization is under 20%, preferably under 10%, the card reports to all 3 credit bureaus, okay, and it's been vetted, then inside the credit game, guess what I'm going to give you? I'm going to give you the #1 vendor in the United States. And guess what else you're going to get? 75% off competitor prices just by being part of the program. So 75% off the prices where any other competitor price would be. You'll get a significant discount by being in the credit game. This is how trade lines work, guys. There's nothing faster to raise your credit score. Now, a lot of people are asking, what if I put trade lines on while I'm going through credit repair? Well, what you want to do is you want to time it. So let's go back to the credit game for a minute. What else am I going to give you? I'm going to give you free elite credit repair. Get in my program, I cover the cost of the credit repair for you. So, that being said, think about it this way. If your results are in 60 days or less, what you want to do is time to when you add the trade line through the other vendor, okay? Because my VIP vendor who does the elite credit repair, results are in 60 days or less. So now you have the 2 vendors inside the credit game. What you want to do is you want to time it to when, as the elite credit repair is finishing up, you're contacting vendor 2 and saying, hey, I want a trade line added. Think about that. You want the trade line added as things are finishing up with the elite credit repair. Because if you got 15 negatives on, putting 1 positive may help you a little bit, but it's not enough to push down the negatives. So you want to get towards the end of the elite credit repair to be able to start adding the trade lines and putting the positive backs on. That's going to give you the most impact, okay? So here's the deal, guys. You want to get a score increase fast before the holidays? You want to get a score increase fast, trust me, before FICO? Then pay attention. The credit game is what you need. You get the education platform, 3 services in 1 today. You're getting the education platform. You're getting the elite credit repair for free with any purchase of any of my programs. And I'm giving you access to trade lines for 75% off competitor prices. That's my thanks to you to help you guys out for the holidays, to help you out so you can have better credit, so you can get some higher limit cards between now and the holidays, so you can actually get maybe a new apartment or get a new vehicle, or maybe you want to surprise the wife with a new vehicle, or maybe you want to get the husband something nice for Christmas or the kids and actually have a decent holiday and Christmas, okay? So I want to help you, but you got to want to help you. I'm giving you 3 services in 1 today by calling 904-420-7772. My people are on the phones ready and waiting for you, okay? This is how trade lines work. There is nothing faster to raise your credit score. So if you want the help, you got to want it better than me. Like you can't want, I can't want it more than you want it. If you want to raise your credit score, it's simple. The first action step you take is just picking up the phone and calling me. The rest we handle for you. You don't have to do anything else. Nothing. 904-420-7772. This is how trade lines work. I'll be waiting on your call.